There we go.
Okay, this is a natural resource manager coming back from break, and we are on H 928. Technical corrections, fish and wildlife, and we have a new draft in front of us. And love to have you go through it. Mr. Shulman, welcome.
Thank you, Bradley Shulman, Office of Legislative Counsel. And so the latest draft of H 928 is 6.1. And the first, second, and third instance of amendment are and fourth instance of amendment are nothing has changed. Those are the point violations that we went over last time. Okay. The changes start on page 2, line 12 for the fifth instance of amendment. So this is related to the champion lands, and previously this struck the entire provision about making a plan for the champion lands. And so instead of striking that entire section, what it says here now is plan to involve the community, involve Vermont citizens and municipality when developing and updating the long-term comprehensive plan for management of portions of the lands which are transferred to it. And so this is a transfer, so this ensures that a planning will still happen, that citizens will still be involved. It just doesn't have to happen every 10 years. So instead of striking the whole thing, it just starts a small piece. The sixth instance of amendment is PFAS. And Mike went over that with you folks yesterday. It is unchanged since you last saw it. All the way up to right at the bottom of page 5, section 7 is also PFAS. And section 8 are the effective dates. And you'll see that fishing tournaments, per instruction from Senator Watson this morning, fishing tournaments has been removed from this version of the amendment. And it just goes straight to the effective dates here. PFAS is, the PFAS sections are effective on passage. All other sections are effective on July 1st. And that's the amendment.
Okay. Any thoughts, comments? Oh,
I have a question.
yes.
When you were here last time, we were going through all of the extremely tedious sections.
Yes.
There was one toward the end that you talked about dogs.
Okay.
Hunting with dogs.
Okay.
And the number of dogs you can have.
Yes.
And I think it was in the bears section.
Okay.
And it was, and Hannah, I'm glad you're here. I think what you said was that you could have one registered dog and as many other unregistered dogs with you as you wanted while you're hunting, as long as at least one of them is registered.
I would need to review that piece, but I think what they are removing is the penalty for having an unregistered dog. We need to find this one. It's here. There's so many of these. I apologize.
It's okay. Are a lot of them.
Chair Watson,
Yes.
as he's looking through that, I'm just kind of curious if that's the way it is to have one registered dog. And maybe because they have new dogs that are going to be trained. I mean, I used to raccoon hunt, and that's what we used to do. We'd have, the veteran dog would go out with the pups. And of course, we didn't have to register them at the time, but I'm just wondering if someone knows if that is the reason for that particular part of the law.
I think I missed that last part.
If you're wondering if that's the reason that is the way it is.
Oh.
If that's the way the law is written for the one registered dog.
Yeah, I mean, I understand having the training like you described, it just isn't. The way I remember Bradley explaining it, it was that it was unlimited, so you could have like one registered dog and then 11 unregistered dogs, and then you have 12 dogs when the limit for registered dogs, I think, is 6. And so you'd have twice, 3 times as many dogs.
Yeah, I don't think that's, I didn't read it that way, but that's why I'm asking.
Okay.
So I did just find that, and I think Hannah might also have some comments, but I think to clarify. If that is what I said last time, I think what this means is it removes the penalties for having an unregistered dog with you. As it is currently a 20-point violation, I believe. And it removes that penalty for having an unregistered dog. There might be some other kind of civil enforcement or something that sort for having an unregistered dog. But it moves it from a point violation. And I think Hannah might have some additional, or might be able to correct me on that piece.
Yes, very.
For the record, this is Hannah Smith with Fish and Wildlife. Some of the adjustment around the points evaluated, there will be points assessed for violations if it's, I'm not sure exactly which provision you're talking about, correctly, I apologize, but either it's being moved from 10 to 20 or 20 to 10 or that to 5. Like there are going to be penalties. 5 is the default if it's not otherwise identified in this section. Around the registration piece, when you get your bear hounding permit, you essentially get 6 tags. So the permit application currently does require that you list the animals that you're planning to hunt with. But the important thing is that you get these tags, and so the hounds that you are hunting with have to have one of those 6 tags. The tags aren't assigned to an individual animal. I think that might be the confusion. So like you can have the dog itself, you might have other dogs with you, but they cannot be running. Only 6 can be running at a time. They have to have one of the collars.
Meaning that only 6 can be out in the field with you hunting. You could have another dog waiting in the truck and you could swap it out, but you can't have more than 6 dogs, period, out in the field.
Right.
Okay.
So like historically, I think as Senator Williams alluded to, that's changed whether or not folks were required to identify the animals in the permit application, for example, because it's less important to importance whether, the like blue tick coonhound is the same one. That's like birdie that you put on your application. What's important is that you have the hounding permit and you have 6 dogs and they have the tags on.
Okay. And this change is just saying, if you happen to have one of your dogs without a permit that's out in the field with you.
I would have to check exactly which.
It's 7.3 in the bear management rule, appendix 7. And so that is being struck from I believe this is in the 20-point violation section. And so it's no longer a 20-point violation. It might be a 5-point violation, but it's being struck out from that piece.
Yes, so you should not have, a discarded registered dog means a dog that is wearing a tag that was issued with your permit. You should not be hunting with a dog without a tag.
But what this is doing is decreasing the penalty if you are.
Yes.
That's exactly right. Okay. So it's still a penalty, but the amount of the penalty is.
And why are guys suggesting that you decrease that one? It seems like there's been so many issues with bear hound hunting that.
Maybe I
Yes.
have a sense that Senator Williams can't hear you. If you pull a chair right up next to. Because yesterday you could, can you hear Senator Williams?
Say it again.
Can you hear what's going on?
I can't hear you.
Okay.
Can I what?
We're just wondering, we're gonna have Hannah pull her chair up so that in hopes that you can hear.
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Oh, okay, all right. Because yesterday.
I think largely because I would actually, I think that the kernel could provide more comprehensive answer, but generally. In terms of so people are still being penalized for this, but there is less concern about, as long as you. I think that we're still penalizing. Not violating any of the requirements around hound hunting. But this particular, I think this might have actually been duplicative, which might have been the reason it was being moved. I have to follow up to provide a supposed answer about why this particular penalty is being, the police assessed for changing for this section.
Okay. We weren't trying to put comments today. I'm just concerned that we're making it easier for people to have unregistered dogs in the field when in my district, there's just been a lot of complaints about fair hunting.
Yeah, and we're just looking at the section 7 again. And
So can I ask you a question, Ms. Smith?
Yes, go ahead.
So, when you get 6 tags, they don't have one for Fido, one for Rex. You get 6, and a lot of hounders have got more than 6 dogs. So maybe one of the dogs is out because it got injured, or they want to try a younger dog to run with the veterans. You gotta remember, it's practicality. This is the hounders have to follow those dogs. So it's not like they're gonna run back to the truck, swap out a dog and then run back to the top of the mountain. They're gonna have 6 dogs in the back of the truck, probably. So it's not like they're gonna run them in relays.
right, and I also will clarify that there were a lot of pieces in there.
Yeah, no, I know.
This, I believe we struck it here because it's duplicative of 6.B, which is still a 20-point violation. 6.3B states that no person shall take a black bear with the aid of any unregistered dog. No person shall have an unregistered dog in his or her possession while hunting, pursuing, or taking a black bear. So 7.2, we only struck it because it's essentially the same violation.
Okay,
And we were trying to simplify.
okay,
And this rule has a lot of semi-duplicative language in it. And
Yeah.
so trying to connect the points assessed with the individual subsections of the rule has been a challenge.
got it, okay.
So yes,
Thank you, I appreciate that.
it would
I'm-
still be penalized appropriately. It was just a matter of the same language we repeated.
Okay, that makes more sense. I asked this question last time we went over and I never got the answer, and so I was concerned, like I said, concerned because I know people in my district have concerns about bear hunting and too many dogs running on their property, and so I don't want to change, so.
For what it's worth, we also, we just all got an email, which I'm gonna forward to Jude as well. From Mike Covey
Okay,
about dogs and part of it says an unregistered dog would be any dog not in the hunt, but in the truck. Once a dog is on the ground, it's hunting. One would not be able to hunt with 100 dogs. I don't know, Jackson.
okay. All right, cool, thank you, I appreciate you guys digging into that and finding the precise language, thank you both.
So you're not feeling like we need to?
Yeah, no, I'm
Right,
fine, I'm
yeah.
fine with it, especially Hannah's description about it's being duplicative, I understand that, so.
Okay, that makes. Okay, so with that, is there a motion to move the bill?
I moved that we find House Bill 9282. That's
We'll draft 6.1.
about 6.1, sorry.
Yes. It's like.
Favorable, House Bill favorable, has been class.
Yeah.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes, go ahead.
Senator Beck? Yes. Senator Baumgartner?
Yes.
Senator Harvey?
Yes,
Senator Williams?
Yes,
Senator Watson?
Yes.
5-0-0. Would like to report.
I'll report it as long as I can read to do it. I'm pretty sure I can.
Okay, and if for any reason you're not up for it, that is perfectly fine, just let us know.
Okay, and I'm sure Mr. Stallman already has the side-by-side done, so.
Okay, Super, thank you. Thank you, Senator Williams, very, very grateful. Thank you, Mr. Showman, really appreciate it.
Great.
Okay, since we have Mr. Grady here, he will just roll right into the next bill, which is 915, the bottle bill. We have a new draft.
Should I begin?
Yes, I think we are good to start.
Good morning, this is Mike, Vice Senate Council. In front of you have the draft, 5.2. Yesterday, walking through the bill, you got to approximately page 22 of the draft. So I left the highlighting in on the previous draft, even though the first 22 pages, you could have repeat and actually make some part out as well. There's, I would say, two significant changes in the bill, from the draft from yesterday. One would be moving a report that had been in the plan after 2.5 years. A&R was, the PRO and A&R was supposed to report on adequacy and compensation under the plan. You move that report to a standalone section where A&R is reporting about the adequacy of compensation, the adequacy of compensation agreements and the extent of them with redemption centers, and then whether or not the system has been adequately modernized so far. After that, there is a repeal of that handling fee in the plan. So the temporary handling fee until 2029 remains in effect. Plan goes into effect. There's the mandatory handling fee, 3.5, single feed reverse vending machines, 4.5, all other, but then that would sunset 2033, which is the same time frame when the grants stop for implementation of technology stand up of the system. You would have a significant amount of time after the A&R report to review whether or not you want to continue the handling fee under the plan. One of the, I forgot to say, one of the parts of the report is A&R recommending whether that handling fee should continue under the plan. And so that's the big, those are the big changes.
Hate to say that, I hate to do this, but can you repeat that part about how it works? It's been a minute, I just want to make sure. So just repeat, yeah.
There's an A&R report on effectively sufficiency of compensation and whether the handling fee should be retained in the stewardship plan, 3.5 to 4.5, whether that floor should remain in the plan. 12 months later, the handling fees in the plan repeal. You have 12 months to decide what you want to do or not with those handling fees. Let them repeal, let them sunset, or maybe act on A&R's recommendation to keep them, act on A&R's recommendation to modify them. And then it would take a future legislative act to change the repeal of the mandatory handling fees in the plan.
So the handling fee is still increased, but on a temporary basis.
So 2029, and then it continues to be increased under the plan until 2032. You get a 2033. In 2032, you get a report from A&R that how is compensation going? Is it fair? Are they entering the compensation agreements?
Is the system modernized? Should the handling fee be retained? And then you have approximately a year, a little bit more, to determine whether or not keep that, to repeal the sunset or not.
Yes,
I thought I remembered from our conversation yesterday that we decided to take out the 3.5 cents for the RVMs, but. And make it all 4.5 cents, but I can't remember. We've gone back and forth on this.
I think yes, sorry.
That's not in here right now. I didn't know you had made the final decision.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
it
that's-
was unclear to me too, so fair.
That is, I apologize, I did not catch that, because that is also what I had understood was the conclusion of our conversation, so. I don't know if it's possible to make some further.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's from 3.5.
Is that what you
Yeah.
remember too, Senator? Beth?
Yeah, I think that is what I remember.
I mean, is that where we got?
I know, why
Yeah, that's
Chair Watson,
Yes, sir.
I kind of like the idea of the sunset. Can Mr. O'Grady kind of go over the pros and cons of that?
Well, I think one of the issues that's currently still at issue is whether or not there should be a mandatory floor for compensation in the stewardship plan. And then you have the redemption center saying that they need to have some surety, some certainty going forward, that they're gonna have a expected level of compensation.
Correct.
But then the PRO is saying, well, that doesn't provide any incentive for us to modernize or evolve the system beyond its current status. So this tries to split that and tries to do both. It tries to give the redemption centers points of redemption, some certainty, surety going into the future, but at the same time addresses the PRO's concern that, hey, if we don't take the handling fee away, we're never gonna update.
Good. Okay, so if that floor is what we're talking about, that if it was a sunset, that would allow them to go back and renegotiate that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, because you will still retain after the sunset of the handling fees, the ability of the points of redemption to negotiate separate compensation agreements with the PRO.
Thank you. That's good.
No questions? So. Wondering about our capacity to continue to make edits. Sort of on the fly here.
I mean, as long as you. And I'm supposed to stick around for 7.7, but after that, I am free.
Okay,
So
so that's all possible.
We're talking about one iterate.
So far,
3.5.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
can we just go through the changes in the bill?
so far,
Yeah,
from yesterday,
yeah,
okay, sure.
yeah, let's do it.
So page 6. Line 18. There was just an addition of an or C.
right.
Yeah.
That was then on page 18. In the language about the waiver. Of immediate return in municipalities with a population of 7,000 or more, you had requested that instead of it saying just unless the secretary waives. Immediate return says unless the secretary determines that required an immediate return of deposit could create an impediment to effective redemption for the plan.
The first read,
Yeah.
okay,
Next change, right on page 19. Remember, Tamara had said it should not say shall not use single feed, it should say may not use only single feed reverse vending machines. And you said or only mobile points of redemption, so mobile points of redemption could be alternative, but not the only alternative in achieving the 3 collection points per currency. And then on page 21, in the, lines 1 through 5, in the, under the plan, the ability for the PRO and the points of redemption to go to dispute resolution. You wanted to say that that arises surrounding negotiation of separate compensation agreements. The redemption centers were concerned that dispute resolution. If a redemption center didn't accept a separate negotiation, separate compensation agreement, that the PRO could go right to dispute resolution instead of paying the 3.5 or 4.5, I should say. And so they wanted to be clear that the dispute resolution is when there's an issue arising out of the separate compensation agreements. Then the next are sections 6 and 7, which are the A&R report and the repeal. They start on page 35, really 36. On or before January 1, 2032, A&R submits to you, the legislature, a report regarding the implementation of stewardship plan for the redemption of beverage containers by the PRO. Or shall describe how the PRO has adjusted compensation for points of redemption included under the stewardship plan, or document why such an adjustment is not necessary. Summarize whether and to what extent points of redemption included in the plan and negotiated separate compensation agreements with the PRO for the redemption or redemption of beverage containers. Assess whether the producer organization has sufficiently updated or implemented redemption technologies to modernize redemption services and improve the convenience and efficiency of redemption services. And then recommend whether the handling fee for redeemed containers required to be part of the stewardship plan in that subdivision should be retained to ensure fair compensation of points of redemption of beverage containers. And that citation will change if you're going to take out the 3.5 for single fee redemption. So reverse unusual. And then section 7, this repeals the handling fees in the plan. You will see they are all removed. And this will change if you will take out the premium, have pretty enough sense. And what remains is the producer responsibility organization and redemption location. Groups of redemption locations shall negotiate how the redemption location or location shall be compensated for the collection of containers under the plan. This happens July 1, 2033. So remember, the report comes in January 1, 2032. The repeal is July 1, 2033. You will have 18 months to determine whether or not you are going to address the handling fee as part of the plan or not. But if you don't do anything, if the handling fee will repeal. And those are the changes from yesterday. You had some changes that you didn't review from the previous draft because you only got to page 22 in your review.
Yeah. Well, perhaps starting there, let's continue to talk through the changes that we have otherwise not.
Page 22 then?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Page 22, the first change is, it was a request from Tomra and the consultation with stakeholders. They wanted to first clarify that the consultation shall take place not less than annually. It did say that, but the language was a little ambiguous, so we made the change. And then they wanted to be referred to as a stakeholder. So bag, drop, and reverse vending technology providers are referenced. And then they wanted the PRO to allow the public to comment on the proposed plan that previously said stakeholders. The public's going to have an opportunity to comment on the plan anyway underneath the A&R defaults public process, but this is specific and will allow the public to comment. And then Tom wanted the plan to be published on the agency's website, which it would be anyway. But so those are those changes. The next is on page 25. This is just, this is the editors. It had previously said not later than 90 days from the expiration of the plan. This is when A&R is approving a renewal of the plan. The editors hate the word from when dealing with time. It's like, is it from the future or the past? And so it's 90 days before the expiration of the plan. The secretary shall issue that determination renewal. So, page 29 is the next change. This is in section 2. Remember, in the future, 2029, when the plan is in effect, the requirements for acceptance of the beverage container changes to reflect that the PRO is implementing this plan. You will see those changes on page 29. It's basically making some technical changes. Remember, it said point of collection, now it said point of redemption. And that's really all the changes there in section 2. The next change is section 30. In what will, when a redemption, point of redemption, retailer, PRO can refuse a container. There, Matt had said language about refusing containers that were purchased out of state. I just missed it. I don't know how I just missed it, but I missed it. And so, what is put in is that language that Matt said about the PRO or the redemption, point of redemption being able to refuse containers that were purchased out of state.
Seinfeld.
The next is not a change, it's a question. I'm sorry, page 33. It's really just, I thought there was a question about the source of the grants. It remains from the Clean Water Fund. The amounts are highlighted because they went down, because you eliminated that second grant program. But otherwise, this is language you have seen pretty consistently over the course of the bill.
Yep, I believe we're okay to keep these as coming
Okay.
ultimately from via sheets via the Clean Water.
The next new language is 6 and 7, which we just walked through, the A&R report and the sunset of the handling fee within the plan in 2033. And then the next change is on page 38. There's a text change. It's moving that subsection C there. It had been in subsection A, but subsection A says in sec 1. Well, and PSA 1528, it's not in sec 1. It's actually not in the bill at all. It's just a separate section that wasn't amended, therefore never included in the bill. And then section 40 is again a text amendment. It had said household hazardous collection program instead of household hazardous products collection program. So for consistency, I changed that. And then one more text correction on 42. Page 42, line 3. She'll take effect longer before it had said beginning, and this is an editor thing to pick any. So she'll take effect for on or July 1, 2030. And then the last is the repeal, effective date of the repeal, that section 7. The handling fees that will be on July 1, 2033.
Okay, that's a lot.
So can I just take you back to the plan and the handling fee under the plan and what you want for a markup there?
Yeah, so page 20.
Yeah.
So not breaking out single fee reverse vending machines as having a different or lower increase. Is that where we land?
Yeah, yes, I think that's what we need. I mean, the difference in cost was
Next,
so close.
Yeah. is that clear enough, Mr. McCready?
Yep.
Okay, and
And then it shows up in another place. Also would be helpful. Okay, page 37.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts or questions at this moment? Okay, I would actually like to take a quick break. Before we move forward.
Okay.
So